to the Monday, March 18th, 2024 City Council meeting. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pass the mashed potatoes.
Item number 2 is approval of the minutes.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Jim,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
and Mary.
Yes. Before we get into hearings of public concerns, I'd like to make a statement from council concerning the video portion of the meetings. After request by a few public members regarding bringing back the video portion of the BPA council meetings, both entities reviewed and determined the cost of both financial and possible security issues. It's just not feasible. In 2022, we had an average of 177 views for council meetings, with Bryan having a population of 8,600. No other community other than Defiance and Napoleon both have audio and video equipment. Most surrounding communities have neither. Williams County Commissioners no longer offer video recording, which affects 5 times more residents. The Bryan City Council will not bring back video portions of our meetings, again, because it's financially responsible and the possible security issues. And with that, we will go into hearing of public concerns. Hearing none, we will go on to, oops, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, come up.
Am I public
You
concern?
sure are.
Well, it depends.
Please state your name for us, please.
Mr. Rosendahl, right?
Stuart Rosendahl, 735 South Lynn Street, Bryan, Ohio.
Okay.
Okay, one of my questions is, when is this water line going to be put on South Lynn Street from West Wilson to South Street? I was told by the mayor it was going to be last year, and a bunch of hose and dump trucks showed up throwing pipe off on the ground, but it was south of Hamilton Street. It was sewer work, or stormwater work, I guess. So I hear now it's going to be this year. Is that a fact or not?
That's what our engineer is saying.
Is that a fact, Brian?
That is fact. The project's been bid and awarded. Bryan Municipal Utilities is actually handling that project rather than the city. So you might get a better answer from them, but I know we're scheduling a pre-construction meeting shortly.
Brian is?
Yeah, the Bryan Municipal Utilities is handling that project. Should be built this summer, but it's been
Brian-
bid and awarded.
Okay,
Ready to go.
good. And then I was also told that Lynn Street then was going to be asphalted. Lord only knows it needs some, Hamilton Street was supposed to have something done to it, and it looks like a road up in Michigan.
Not in the plans yet. We're gonna wait till construction is over and readdress it.
Okay. They drive 40, 50 mile an hour on South Lynn Street all the time. There's no stops, and it has the same problem, only not near as bad as South Main Street. From Circle K to Perry Street. I know for a fact, since I lived there for almost 55 years, that there's a lot of vehicles, big giant $80,000 Dodge pickup trucks going 100 mile an hour from Circle K to Perry Street, motorcycles, cars. It's a circus on the weekends, especially when the weather's nice. I would suggest the traffic division. I have yet to see a police car. I've seen them stop cars in Bryan. I have yet to see a police car with their lights on South Main Street, stopping a vehicle. I've seen State Patrol stop them there, and I've seen the county occasionally stop one. I know you're short people, and I know your phone rings off the hook, so something needs to be done. I know they're going 100 mile an hour. I've been in the drag race business for 60-plus years, and I know how fast 100 mile an hour is. And there's a lot of vehicles, and it's not always in the northbound lane, but 80% of it is in the northbound lanes from the red light at Circle K to Perry Street and Real Estate North, because it's bad. I don't know.
We'll get with the police chief and have him.
Yeah, is there a specific day or time of day that it's worse?
Yeah, weekends, the circus is in town down there on weekends. Later in the day, you know, if the weather's nice, it doesn't always have to be nice. It's, they need to slow the H down. You know, Butch, the fellow that lives in the church there on Hamilton Street, I can't think of Butch's last name, has volunteered to let the officers used to sit there all the time, there at that stop sign, and catch the unsuspected speeders and drag racers that went by there. I was told by an officer that they can't do that anymore. I don't
Our
know.
chief isn't here unfortunately, so I can't.
But Butch has told me he would like to see the the northbound lane, the people that live on the east side of South Main Street can't even shovel their walks because it's 10 feet from their front doorstep. You know, somebody lose a tire or, the 4 lanes in Bryan was a bad idea. There are 4 lanes to nowhere. To Ney, or to Montpelier, or West Unity, or Blakesley. That's where you can go from the 4 lanes. They only need them at lunchtime, at go-home time. Otherwise, they're just great big things that needs to be shoveled and asphalted, and holes dug in them all the time. It doesn't make any sense. The water lines are underneath the eastbound lane of North Main Street, an entire length of North Main Street, just not a piece of it. They've been digging potholes in it since the 4 lane was in there. It's going to be a project to replace it, and one day that'll have to be done.
So, Mr. Rosendahl, I hate to keep doing this, but water lines are solely under the discretion of Bryan Municipal Utilities.
And what does that mean?
That means that council, other than the final oversight of budget, doesn't have anything to do with the
Oh, I got to
administrative
go
piece.
someplace to tell them.
Yeah, so,
Board of Public Affairs?
yeah, he's right there, one of them.
Well, I don't have to go there. They just heard it.
Okay, Mr. Salisbury, you'll get that to Mr. Schultz?
You bet.
All right, and I
So-
will address your concerns with the police chief tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Okay,
And I understand you have a new lawn police. I just met
we
him
do, Mr.
downstairs.
Falk, yeah.
Yes.
Sean,
Sean,
okay,
yes.
because you need it.
Yes, we do.
I drive around this town for 60 years making a living in it, and a lot of people don't care.
Yep.
And most of them are rentals. I know you talk about rentals, we need rentals. Well, you might need rentals and places for people to live, but they need to take care of their property.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Stu.
Item number 4 is the clerk's treasurer report.
Yeah, council has received in the packet financial information for the month ended February 29th. And it's the usual bank statements, bank reports, fiscal reports for the month. And if there are any questions for me either this evening or at any other time,
I do.
always available.
And normally, and I was trying to do it very quickly, I should have got here earlier so I could look at the new information. But just, if you look at February's receipts and disbursements, just the month to date, we're okay year to date.
Yep.
But it looks like February, we're a little underwater, and I didn't, so I was trying to, unfortunately, didn't have time to do the quick analysis on this.
Yeah.
And so is this a good time for that, or is this a bad time? You don't, I can talk to you, it doesn't matter to me.
The answer is pretty simple.
Oh.
January was like 23% up.
Yes,
February was down.
yes,
The two, between the two, is about a wash. It's strictly a timing issue of when
Okay.
receipts hit.
it's when the receipts hit,
That's right.
yeah, all right. Perfect.
Yep.
Sorry about that, I just,
Oh, that's fine.
Well, I'll move to approve.
Second.
Jim?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
John?
yes,
And Mary?
Yes. Item number 5 is an ordinance. Please number and read.
Ordinance number 9, 2024, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a purchase agreement with DFP Properties of Ohio LLC for the purchase of a strip of land being a part of Outlot 9 in the northeast quarter of Section 20, City of Bryan, Pulaski Township, Williams County, Ohio, being adjacent to their current parcel, being 4,624 square feet, more or less, out of the tax parcel 063-200-01053.000.
Good evening.
Evening.
South Union Street, mobile home park, and there's park property adjacent to it. That concrete driveway has existed as long as I and probably Stu Rosendahl can remember. It has been on park property. I didn't know it. Nobody knew it. The mobile home park has recently changed hands. They ran into some title issues because their entrance does not fall on their property. I worked back and forth with Mark Fiscal, with the attorney, and with the mayor on different options that we could do. We discussed an easement, different things like that, but the cleanest way is just to sell it to them, be done with it. The parks have no use for it. We don't use it. The city doesn't use it. So I'm recommending treating it the same as we have the last two small sales of land that we've had. We had one, somebody needed a septic system, and the other one out on Town Line. They were just occupying 10 foot of our property. I told the gentleman I was gonna request a $1,500 sale price, and he pay for the closing fees on that. And that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to recommend that you authorize us to sell this parcel to him to clean up his deed issues that he has.
yeah, that was my only question, you just answered it, which
Yeah.
is the park
Yeah.
have any?
We have zero interest in it. We don't even use it. Benji
Yeah,
didn't
like
even know it
This is
was,
the outfield
Yeah,
fence
that-
right
that-
here for the girls.
Yeah.
yeah, but
Like,
we've never used it. Benji thought it was theirs.
Girls too, so
yeah,
not-
they're probably not gonna hit that
not-
driveway
not
very
that
often.
450 feet.
Yeah, rare occasion.
And the previous owner had put in the concrete then?
I have no idea.
Okay. then-
It's
Well,
been
yeah,
in
we
since,
really don't know.
So we have no money.
I went back, aerial photographs back in the 50s, and it was there. So, yeah,
Wow.
Well, I'll move to suspend.
Second.
Jim?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
John?
Yes,
And Mary?
sorry.
Yes.
coffin.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Rick,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
and Mary.
Yes,
Thank you for that.
thank you. Item number 6 is an ordinance. John, please number and read.
Ordinance number 10, 2024, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with Gherkin Paving Incorporated for the project known as 2024 Asphalt Program.
We received 2 bids on that, Gherkin Paving and Helms and Sons. Gherkin Paving was about $10,000 under the other bidder. Had very good luck with Gherkins. In the past, we had talked about the different areas of town that it will be, Union Place, East Village, Autumn Chase, and part of Youse Edition off of Markey Drive. With that, I request you suspend the rules and allow us to enter into contract with them so they can get started here hopefully late April, early May when the asphalt plant opens.
If there's no questions, I'll move to suspend.
And I'll second.
John,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
and Mary.
Yes,
And I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
Jim,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
and Mary.
yes,
Thank you so much.
thank you.
Thanks, Brian.
Item number 7 is an ordinance. John, please number and read.
Ordinance number 11, 2024, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Krill Funeral Service, establishing the terms and conditions of indigent burial reimbursement. Gary Burr from Krill has approached us about formalizing an agreement. Kind of a non-binding thing. We're not, I mean, we take these indigent burials from any funeral home that has them. But in order for us to realize a discount he is offering, he wants to have an agreement in place. He has it similarly with other villages in the county. So the current charge is roughly $2,400. He's indicating that he would charge us $1,000 for indigent burials going forward if this contract is, or this agreement is in place. It's non-binding, can be terminated at any time. So it's kind of a no-brainer from my standpoint that we enter into this.
So are we going to have this with the other funeral homes?
I will mention it to the others to see if there's an interest in having similar language.
Because right now, we don't have any contract or agreement with anybody.
Correct.
Correct? And so this would be for them at $1,000 a pop. Do you have any idea? If you don't, that's okay. But does anybody have any idea about how many indigent burials we do per year?
Half a
5,
dozen.
50, I would guess.
5 to
I
10.
wouldn't say there's that many.
Yeah. Tyson would know better than
One
I.
or two, maybe,
Are,
I mean, we've had a
Other than-
handful since I've been here, but
which I guess 1 or 2 that we bury at Fountain Grove.
well, that's what,
I don't
how
know if
about,
we have to pay.
Yeah, we do have to
We
pay
do
if
have
they're
to
buried
pay when
somewhere
they get
else,
Buried somewhere else, so.
if
John would
they
know that
resided
better
in the
than I.
city.
yeah.
and
And there are several with cremation
Well, that's
and
what-
no,
that's
and
what I
no
was gonna
burial
ask.
plans.
Because
and all,
cremation
certainly not
would be
ours.
cheaper,
I
right?
think that's probably what the $1,000 is,
That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
what I thought.
cremation.
Okay.
And just keep in mind, that's not something that we dictate on where that would go. The coroner, I believe, just has a running list, and whoever's turn it is gets the phone call.
We might want to, I like the idea of checking with the other.
Yeah, because to be
Seems like a
honest,
community.
I was kind of explaining to John, because, well, we have Montpelier Funeral Homes and Stryker,
Right.
like, it just depends on who's on call that night for the county, but I've in the past contacted some of them and just said, hey, you're not getting any money, we're not getting any money, can we split the difference on this? And a lot of times, they have to put a number down of what it costs, because they have to report things to the state, and they have accountants. Sometimes we've had good luck with that conversation of, okay, Carrie, tell me what you paid the last funeral home. Sometimes we don't, and we're paying $2,400. So, yeah, I did encourage John to reach out to the other 2 or 3 mainstays, because a lot of them are kind of joined together, and see if they wouldn't be in agreement. It should be noted, too, the state took out the extra funding for indigent burials this year. I think the governor did a line item veto. I still cannot understand why, because that's just something that the communities have to pay, and the funeral homes have to absorb. And after the pandemic and what the funeral homes had to endure with their expenses, it doesn't
That make a lot of sense.
Right, so we've been trying to work on that at Ohio Municipal League and get back in front of our legislators for that for the next budget cycle.
But we're looking at 1 to 2 people.
Well, that's what
typically.
he had. We have about half a dozen a year that come in that are residents of the city of Bryan, that have no family, that have no funds, and they are considered indigent, which means we pay for their remains either by cremation or burial. The city. So it's city coffers, taxpayer money. That's just,
If you reach out and none of the other entities in the county, funeral entities in the county are interested, then would this be like a sole source?
no, the count, it won't work that way.
Because it's divvied up.
It's divvied
from a
up.
coroner perspective?
Yes.
Yeah, we have no say in where
Okay, I got it.
people go.
In fact, that would probably cause us more issues too if we just said, hey, this is the only one we want, because we'd probably be an issue for us that way.
But like you said, he's just after an agreement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's probably for accounting purposes, so he can go to his accountant and say, look, I've agreed to write this much off, the city's agreed to pay this much, and it's cleaner for him. And certainly appreciative that he's
I'm
willing.
to suspend with the added issue of John checking in with the phone.
And I'll second that.
John,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Steve,
Yes,
and Mary.
Yes.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
I'm sorry, who's the first?
Steve.
Steve,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
and Mary.
Item number 8 is a resolution. John, please number and read.
Resolution number 19, 2024, a resolution promoting equal housing opportunity in the city of Bryan, Ohio, and declaring an emergency. Maumee Valley Planning Organization, who is our housing authority, has requested that we put this on tonight to update language. The last time we had this fair housing agreement in place was dated 1983. And
4 years ago.
they just want the language referencing non-discrimination to be current with current federal housing law, and so the changes are related to that discrimination clause. That's the only other change, nothing of any other substance.
To approve, to suspend, excuse me.
And I'll second.
Rick? Jim?
Yes.
Steve?
Yes,
John?
Yes.
And Mary?
Yes.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Steve?
Yes.
John?
Yeah.
Rick?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
And Mary?
Yes. That includes the items on the agenda. I need to have a motion from council to go into executive session to discuss acquisition of property and to consider compensation of a public employee.
So moved.
Second.
Steve?
Yes.
Rick?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
And Mary?
Yes.